welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to dive into this weird paradox of modern life. We're more connected than ever before, right? But somehow we often feel more distant. We're going to look at why that face-to-face meeting still has this incredible power that no screen can ever really replicate. Okay, let's start with a feeling I bet we've all had, especially these last few years. You know the one, you're on a video call, it's super efficient, it's convenient, but there's just this nagging sense that something crucial, something human is missing. But then you finally meet that person in real life, and bam, there it is, this wave of relief, this genuine joy. All of a sudden the conversation just flows, you know? The jokes land better, and you feel that simple, amazing connection of just sharing the same space. What's so fascinating is that this isn't a new idea at all. Theologian Bonehoeffer was talking about this decades ago. He saw that being physically present with people wasn't just, a social nice-to-have. For him, it was a source of incomparable joy and strength. It actually makes your own convictions stronger. And this deep desire for physical presence, it's not a modern thing. Actually, if you go way back and look at ancient writers, you find they were wrestling with the exact same problem, just with, different technology. And it gives us this fantastic lens to look at our own digital world. I mean, take the Apostle Paul. He was separated from his community, and he wrote these incredibly powerful, heartfelt letters. But he knew they weren't the whole story. He talks about this urgent, earnest prayer to see them in person, because he believed only being face-to-face could supply what was still lacking. And then you have the Apostle John saying almost the exact same thing. He literally calls out paper and ink as being, not good enough. For him, the only way for their joy to be truly complete was by seeing each other and talking face to face. The letter was just a placeholder, not the main event. And that brings us to the core idea here. What if all our modern tools, Zoom, FaceTime, text messages, all of it, are just studios, paper, and ink? Yeah, they're incredible for bridging huge distances, but they're still just a substitute. They can't quite deliver that final piece that makes our joy complete. Thinking about it this way kind of reframes what those ancient texts about community are really saying. When the psalm talks about how good and pleasant it is when people live together, it's not describing a nice group chat. It's celebrating that irreplaceable goodness of actual, physical, side-by-side presence. Okay, so we've pretty much established it, right? Meeting in person is powerful. But here's where the whole discussion takes a really sharp and maybe a little uncomfortable turn. It stops being about the technology we use and starts being about the kind of person we are. Let's just sit with this question for a second. It's really easy to say we want community, that we crave that human connection. It's a lot harder to turn the mirror on ourselves and ask, hey, am I someone who actually contributes to that? Am I the kind of person that people genuinely look forward to seeing again? So, what does it mean to be someone people truly want to be around? Well, here's a crucial distinction. We are absolutely not talking about being a people pleaser. See, the goal isn't to become what the Japanese call a happobijin, which means like a beautiful person in 8 directions. Someone who's just superficially nice to everybody. Instead, the model here is Jesus. He was this incredibly magnetic figure that people were drawn to, but not because he tried to please everyone. It was because he was so completely dedicated to his mission, even when it made him unpopular. Think back to Paul and John. Why were people so desperate to see them? It wasn't just for a friendly chat. Their presence was literally transformative. They were so committed to a purpose that was way bigger than themselves that just being around them inspired people to grow and change. So how do we cultivate that kind of presence in ourselves? Well, it's not about learning some social tricks or personality hacks. It's about building a solid foundation in your life. It's about practicing love through your actions, staying grounded through prayer, approaching people with humility, and being faithful to your own unique mission. Those are the things that make our physical presence a real source of connection. All right, let's wrap this all up. Face-to-face meetings have a power and joy that just can't be replaced. All our amazing digital tools, they're useful for sure, but they're really just today's paper and ink, a limited substitute. So the real challenge isn't about mastering our tech, it's about becoming the kind of person others truly want to be around, by living a life full of love and purpose, not just trying to please everyone. And that leaves us with one final thought to take with us. It's one thing to be pleasant company, but as you go about your week meeting people, the question to really ask yourself is this: is my physical presence not just enjoyable, but a genuine source of joy and strength for the people in my life? Something to think about.